Where's your USP? I told you we were filming today. That's not a USP, that's dinner. And that's a crap dinner.
It's not a crap dinner.
I would express my disappointment, but I feel like your mother does that enough.
Yeah, you're right.
You don't get to eat. You get to eat after we film. Put it down. Spit it out. Are you quite finished?
Yes.
Good. I'm glad you're present. I'm glad you're here.
I was hungry. We should always wear these when you're operating airsoft pistols.
Should always wear those when you're Cory. Anyway, hello and welcome to Gun Gamers. I'm Eric.
Yeah, hi, I'm Cory.
And today we're talking about the Elite Force CO2 Blowback USP, licensed by H&K and OEM'd by KWC.
I really like this gun.
I do too, but there is some stuff that we're going to have to criticize about it, unfortunately. Which is unfortunate, but that's BB Wars. There's always things. So, this is the CO2 USP that I was really looking forward to ever since I heard it was coming out. Facts about the USP. It's a big gun. I mean, you know the size of my hands. I complain about things being too small for my hands constantly, and my hands are perfect for the USP. This is not a small handgun. This is not a compact. This is not a concealed carry BB Wars pistol. This is something that you are going to be carrying as a large handgun. And you're just going to have to deal with that. And if you can't, then don't buy it. I don't know what to tell you.
I wear a size large glove, and this gun is, for me, it's just to the fact where my hands almost feel too small for it. It's a big gun, even for like normal people, not mongoloids.
Yeah, and I'm an XXL glove size. So for me, it's like, yay, this feels great. This must be how everyone else feels about the Glock 19. But yeah, then it's also heavy. With the magazine in, with this guy, it is a hefty handgun. You're gonna want a really good holster, and I'm gonna plug my buddy Matt here, because Gun Gamers Custom Works does a fantastic holster. Cory and I are both using these in custom molded holsters from our buddy Matt, who runs Gun Gamers Custom Works. So we actually don't know if these fit in real holsters, because we've had no reason to bother trying.
Lucky you.
Yeah, sorry about that. I wish we could contribute more. But we have actually used these in a couple of games. Cory has used this at the Mere Tactical Seneca Directive two-day game, and you used it at Desert Fox events.
Which was also a two-day game. And I used it a lot on the second day because I was having some issue with the mags in my primary. And let me tell you, I've never been more confident in a sidearm than I have been with this. I was very confident in this. And I can't express how much that I trust this gun so far. I've put probably close to 400 rounds through it.
Yeah, I'm at a little less. Yeah, I'm probably closer to like 250, 300 rounds through this. I did use it a good bit at the Seneca Directive when I was clearing buildings and whatnot. And I did also use this gun for just a lot of general shooting and plinking because I was really excited to get it and I really wanted to shoot it, so I did a lot of shooting. The things that we're about to say in this video, though, are based on using this gun in the field as well as based on shooting with it. We didn't take it out of the box and make this review. So, things I like. To start with, I like the ergonomics. I like that it's a USP. If you know how USPs work, you have your safety here, your thumb safety. I like the thumb safety. Cory doesn't. But that's inherent to the design of the USP. That's nothing Elite Force could do differently. What I like about the safety, though, is that unlike the old KWA USP, the safety works. And it doesn't just pull the trigger anyway and drop the hammer anyway, because the old KWA USPs, I owned 2 or 3 back in the day, and all of them had busted safeties within like a magazine of shooting. So Good job, KWA. KWC outdid you for a lower price. Excellent. Yeah, I'm not salty. Then the decocker works, obviously, and that makes the first trigger pull double action. Whether or not you like that is up to you. I personally just use this thing 1911 style, cocked and locked, so hammer back, safety on, draw it, turn the safety off, and it works. The trigger pull on this is probably one of the better airsoft triggers I've ever felt. It actually feels very crisp. It actually has a very nice audible and tactile reset. And even the double action trigger is not that bad. It feels pretty accurate to a real double action handgun trigger. The trigger on this in general feels like a generally not terrible trigger, which is unusual for BB Wars.
I really like the trigger, and I really like the decocker feature. It's really nifty. I'm a big fan of SIG pistols, and this feels like a SIG, but I've had a KSC SIG 226, and this outdoes it 9 times out of 10.
Yeah. Other things that are cool. The disassembly is super easy, just like a real USP. We'll put up the procedure on how to do that, but basically you pull the slide just back barely enough so you can push out the slide catch. Then you take the slide catch out, take the whole slide assembly off, take out the spring guide, and there you go. That is also how you access your hop-up. Your hop-up is actually one of the things about this gun I think it does best. A lot of other guns from the same manufacturer do not have a hop-up this good. And I think finally we've got a hop-up that's actually built for a CO2 handgun. Because CO2 runs at a higher pressure and it vibrates the gun a lot more than most other gas sources. So when you have just a rotary dial, those very often like to unadjust themselves. And that's one of the main complaints I hear people have with the Elite Force 1911. That was a complaint I ran into on a couple of the older gens. The latest one I own didn't do it, but you know, also could be luck of the draw. These two USPs, however, both have great hop-ups.
Excellent hop-ups.
And we are able to very easily, very easily hop like 0.3 gram BBs out to almost 150 feet. So that's pretty cool for a handgun. For a stock handgun, I'm not complaining.
That's pretty good for a stock rifle at 150 feet.
Depends on the stock rifle, but yeah. So that's pretty good. And I think that entirely does come down to the fact that that screw is a much more fine adjustment, and that screw isn't going to rotate itself as readily as just like a thumb slot. It's just a better hop-up mechanism. It's more stable inherently. So I think that is actually one of the main reasons I like this gun as much as I do, because the hop-up is really good just because it's, in my opinion, a better design. You do need a tool to adjust the hop-up though. But a standard flathead screwdriver that you can find on pretty much any multi-tool you're probably carrying with you in the field anyway, that's kind of as easy of a tool as one could ask for.
Yep.
The only thing I would warn you though is the metal on that screw is a little soft. So if you're gonna try to be like me and be clever and just put like a small screwdriver through the hole in the spring guide retainer and you're gonna try to adjust it that way, don't do that. Take that spring guide out, flip that retainer up, and use a larger flathead that makes more surface area contact with that entire screw. Otherwise, you're gonna mar and possibly strip that screw out. You don't want to do that. So maybe Elite Force could use some harder metal on that screw, or maybe you can just not be an impatient mongoloid like me and use the proper tool for the job by fully disassembling the gun. But the good news is once you get it dialed in, you're probably not going to have to adjust it much because that hop-up does not adjust itself.
Eric had a small scare when we first got the pistols because mine was hopping fine and his took just a tiny bit longer to just get perfect.
Yeah, mine did have a bit of a break-in.
I don't think it was anything he was doing wrong. I really just think his just had more of a break-in. Plus, I shot mine.
It also could have been lube. Yeah, because I had cleaned and lubed my gun right before going to the Seneca directive. It also might have been lube on the hop-up bucking, but I mean, now it's perfect. So it was probably breaking in lube, but now it's great. My main scare was the first one of these guns I got. I actually, unfortunately, came broken. And it came broken in a way where it would just slam fire on full auto and not function or cycle properly at all. So naturally, you can imagine I was a little displeased about that. I was able to get that one returned though, because it was defective, and get a new one. And here we are now with the one I got that was a replacement, and that's much better. One other thing to keep in mind about this being a USP is you don't have a standard Picatinny rail here. You have a special Snowflake USP rail, so it can be a bit picky about any lights or lasers you want to mount on there, but you know, that'll happen.
So one of the things that could be considered a con, it's definitely a con, really.
Yeah.
Is this pin right here that I believe holds the mag catch in.
Yeah, I believe that's the mag catch retainer.
So this pin likes to walk out. I put about 5 mags through it, and it was almost all the way out. And then I was like, oh, I'm going to have to Loctite that. And another thing that we were kind of concerned about is the way the barrel, the threads on the barrel, they're kind of just pinned in there. That makes me slightly nervous. And Eric pointed that out.
Yeah, so the threading on the barrel is actually an insert here. It's not an integral part of the barrel, and it's inserted and then it's pinned. My main complaint with that actually is I wish I could take the threading off. The real USP...
I don't know why you'd want to do that.
Because I want something that looks more like the real USP that doesn't have threading. The USP Tactical has threading, and you can get threaded barrels for the USP, and you can get like a Mark 23 and be a heretic like Cory here. But I like the look of the plain, flat front, classic USP. And I thought this would be like, you know, some of the other guns out there. We can screw that threading out or do something like that, but no, it's pinned in place. I get that they want the orange tip on there to be permanently affixed in compliance with the law, but I wish there was an option for getting rid of that threading and taking that out, because as of right now, I guess your only recourse would be to drill that pin out, which is just a pain.
Yes.
So I wish there was a different way to do that. I also don't like that the pin walks out. That is not isolated to Cory's gun. My gun does the same thing. That pin slowly walks out as you keep shooting the gun. And that's because, again, it's CO2. It's a very violent cycle. It's heavy recoil.
It is.
This is some of the heaviest recoil I've felt on an airsoft pistol. This is a huge, chunky, heavy slide moving back and forth with a nice crisp blowback, but it's a heavy vibration and it walks that pin out. That does appear to be the only thing on this gun that walks, which is good. So that should be just a dab of super glue there. That's all you need to do. Other than that, the other thing I don't like is this billboard on the front right of the handgun with the warning, you know, not a toy, wear eye protection. It's like, dude, come on. You went through the trouble of making this such a realistic USP replica otherwise with all these, you know, licensed trademarks, and you just ruin it with that billboard. And there's probably a reason that's required. I'm sure it's a loss somewhere, but it's a loss somewhere that I hate. And I wish there was not that. I wish that wasn't on there, or if it was on there, I wish it was a sticker that you could take off, because that looks tacky and terrible and really does a good job ruining the aesthetics of what is otherwise a very faithful replica to the USP. I've shot real USPs, I've shot real HK handguns, and this feels about as close to them as any airsoft replica I have ever shot or owned. So the fact that they get so close and then mess up with like little details like that really just makes it that much more of a trigger for me.
Speaking of things that are ugly, if you want to run a muzzle device on this, I mean, I was shooting it a lot and had no issues. And that's probably due to the heavy recoil of this airsoft handgun. I liked running this because
he hates being decent.
I have bad hearing, and this is my hearing aid, so
I hate you so much.
I love you.
So, magazine capacity and CO2 efficiency. This magazine holds 18 BBs, not the highest capacity magazine out there, which, you know, for a double stack 45 handgun, you wonder if they could have squeezed some more in there, but, you know, whatever. I don't care. The magazine feeds great. It retains the BBs great. I've not had any misfeeds or malfunctions or issues, so that's fine, whatever. The CO2 efficiency in this is good. It will get about 1 mag of like really flawless great cycling, a second mag of good cycling, a third mag of now you're getting pretty low, and then you get like
half of a fourth mag
before you're just piddling BBs.
Yeah.
So that's pretty decent, but again, it's this heavy, chunky slide moving back and forth so fast that is sapping a lot of that CO2.
So our recommendation is probably switch out that CO2 canister after two runs, because
honestly, I just switch them out every time. Maybe that's kind of wasteful and not efficient, but
emissions, bro.
Yeah, it just guarantees that it's going to work.
Mags are $39.
Mags are expensive.
Yep, I just bought 2 today. Luckily, I'm going to be at Amped Airsoft next weekend, so I at least get to save on shipping.
Yeah, but $40 for mags is... I mean, I guess that's kind of standard for airsoft mags. It's cheap for HK mags. But it's... Yeah, that's kind of rough. But for the price this gun comes in at, it comes in at $135. This is $10 more than the Elite Force 1911 Tactical. And just for that hop-up design alone, I think is actually a much better gun.
Yeah, I would definitely agree. I love the Elite Force 1911. Oh,
I know, controversial opinion. I like it too, but
it's super reliable. It's not the best shooter though. It really isn't.
Yeah, it doesn't have the same precision tunable hop-up this does. This is just a better hop-up design than most airsoft handguns. Not just even that.
Even with the hop-up dialed in on the Elite Force 1911, I haven't been able to get the range and accuracy of this.
Yeah, so I mean, this gun is pretty good. In terms of velocity, this gun is coming in at the low 300s with 2 5s. I chronoed this gun with 3 2s at the Seneca Directive. They were doing that for Joule enforcement purposes. This thing came in at 1.25 joules with 3 2s on a warm day. So this gun is like... It's not bad in terms of velocity, but if you're running heavy BBs and experiencing Joule creep, you might actually get over your field's CQB limit, which might be a little concerning. Now, I don't use this at fields where the limit is 350 because I usually play at fields where the limit is 400, which is about 1.5, 1.6 joules. So that's not a huge issue there, but be aware that if you're a field watching this, make sure you chrono gas guns with heavy BBs because people forget that Joule creep is a thing, and this gun does Joule creep a bit. You know, with 3 2s, it's at 1.25 joules, and with 2 5s, it was coming in at like maybe 1 joule. So bear that in mind, guys.
I'd also like to see extended magazines for this because I'm not a good person.
No, you're not a good person.
Amy's turning into Milsim and I'm turning into Speedsoft, so I don't know what's happening. But I want an extended mag. I want many extended mags.
I want you dead, but that's not going to happen either. All right, are we done here? We've been rambling for a while.
Would you like a 10 deep?
I'm done with you. So, that is our review of the Elite Force CO2 USP Blowback. Hopefully we covered everything we were looking to cover. And if you have any questions about this gun that you feel like we didn't answer, put those down in the comments below and we will get to them. And if we run into any major updates as we continue to use this gun, we will make a follow-up video. But so far, I really like it. I mean, I did a lot of nitpicking. I said there was a lot of stuff that I thought could use improvement. Anyways, I'm E-House. He sucks.
I'm Cory.
Everyone leave a dislike for Cory. I never ask for dislikes or likes, but I'm asking for dislikes. Leave a dislike if Cory eating tenders just bothers you as much as it bothers me. Anyways, we'll see you in the next one. Peace.
Bye.
Thank you for watching this video from Gun Gamers. We hope you enjoyed watching it as much as we enjoyed making it. Check the description below if you'd like to buy a t-shirt or a patch, and use the coupon code JUDY10 for 10% off of your next order at Amped Airsoft. Thank you again for watching, and praise Judy.